Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP Reviews Podcast. I am one of your hosts, John Clemente. Alongside with me are two of my bestest best friend. I'm gonna start as per usual, the man in the center line. CHUBAX, how you doing?
Hey, I'm CHUBAX. Very exhausted, so if I pass out or nod off, forgive me. But yeah, happy to be talking Reacher season 2.
If you're tired, just think what would Reacher do? Alongside with us also waking up at an ungodly hour in the West Coast is Arnie. Arnie, how are you doing?
Well, freezing cold, but it's okay. I'm hanging out with you guys.
It's freezing cold here as well, and weirdly, our heater for the first time is not working in this building yesterday and today.
Oh shit!
The entire week it was warm, but it's crappy out. It's been snowing since Sunday. I haven't walked more than one block in a week because I just want to stay in. But as Chubax has mentioned, this week we will be discussing Reacher season 2 out on Amazon Prime. I'll
The
give a
biggest
little bit.
Amazon Prime show
It is the
ever.
Amazon original. It's the best. I don't know what it is. What's the ingredient that's
We shall
Reacher
discuss.
Crew is doing? But it's just so fucking amazing. But a bit of stats
We shall
before we
discuss.
gush over the entirety of Reacher, but it is an action crime drama, detective fiction thriller based on the Jack Reacher novels by Lee Child. I just did not realize how many Reacher books there are. There's gajillions.
Yes, gajillion.
Gajillion.
I tried to
Um,
start it and read it, and the only thing that kind of threw me off is the setting because I think it's in the 80s or 70s,
mm,
so it's kind of jarring for me to. That's why I couldn't
from
finish the first book because of the setting.
yeah, from what we know of Reacher from the Tom Cruise two movie Reachers and then the two seasons of Reacher, yeah, it's a little bit different, but it's developed for TV by Nick Santora, starring more and more. I'm warming up to the idea of Alan Ritchson playing Batman. So Alan Ritchson, Malcolm Goodwin, Willa Fitzgerald, which wait, Willa Fitzgerald is sorry. I'm reading off season 1 actors, but I wanna wait, let me just find
I
season
got
2
it.
actors and actresses. Well, for season 2, we got my future ex-wife, Serinda Swan. Also could be Catwoman. I don't know. Trubax's pick is Maria Sten,
Neely.
Francis Neely,
Neely.
um, Neely, and we have Robert Patrick, Mr. T2000 himself, as the big bad. We also have like Sean Sipos, one of the crew in one of the regulars, the crew that we have in this little Reacher task force,
What's
and
going
a
on?
bunch more. Season 2 came out late last year, comes out weekly on Amazon Prime. They finished their second season yesterday, January 19th, 2023. So if you're looking for 8 episodes of pure, unadulterated, clear, just turn off your
Fucking
brains,
fun.
open your eyes, have fun, uh watch Reacher season 2. So before we dive into not necessarily episode by episode because it's a very basic story, but like beat by beat of season 2, Trubax, what is your non-spoilery take on season 2 of Reacher?
I love it. It's everything I wanted in season 1 but more. My only nitpick is I think the finale for season 1 was a little better, but the whole season 2 is better for me. Just this the climax was a little more,
Oh, the
but
climax.
yeah, but then again the climax for the season 1 was your typical climax. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like
It's
everything.
the season 1 was this big shoot 'em up, and then season 2 was there's a lot of there's already a lot more big shoot 'em ups within the season. So towards the end, it's just a little shoot 'em up in a helicopter.
Yeah, yeah. So they kind of had to stagger the big fight and then the helicopter. It wasn't one, but yeah, I mean, it was. This is a nitpick. I still loved it. I still enjoyed everything about it.
There's no hiding how much I love Reacher. Like every week, this is the highlight of my Friday.
Mm,
Just like watching, and there was a couple of episodes that there's one episode that we actually watched together too.
mm.
Um, it's just my main question is, why is this so good? Like why Reacher? There's so many other mindless action thriller, punch people in the face, shoot people in the gut kind of
I
thing.
think
Why
I
is
don't know.
this
I think
different?
it's a combination of Alan Richardson's charm, and how they make a stupid smart show or a
Yeah, that's
smart stupid show. Is it?
I think the writing, yeah, the writing is better because they had to focus on it because I mean, the star
But
power is
it
not
no, but
not quite
it's
there, right?
it's still
that's the thing. It's
stupid.
like I've
But
been thinking about this every week whenever I watch it. Is yeah, the writing is solid. It's not bad, but it's not stellar. There's no twists. There's no depth. There's no
no, it, that's why I
introspection.
think they found
Maybe
a
that's
way
it.
to they found a way to give you something popcorn movie ish, but just a little smarter. Or
A little.
they gave you kind of a smart show but dumber. So it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
they found the sweet
it's
spot of
yeah,
just
and
because we just got so inundated with every show has to have a twist. No, it doesn't have to have a twist. Just have a straightforward story that's good, and then the
it's
twists could come
also
in later. Yeah,
and I think in my opinion, they did a concerted effort to not look like one of those procedurals that we see on TV. It's almost like a procedural. It's almost like an NCIS, right? But there's a bigger story, like a bigger through line for the entire season, and the season is short, so you don't need to be bored, and you don't need to be too bogged down on the episode by episode mission because there is like progression per episode too. Like it's very
I think the
simple.
standalone season works also as well, helps a lot also. And yeah, the chemistry of the cast, they nailed it. So yeah, I still don't know how Reacher can travel from state to state with just a toothbrush. No deodorant? No, or does he take a bath? Does he take a
I'm sure
bath?
it's a little bit more exaggerated than that. He did say that he stays in motels on occasion, right? So,
Yeah, but he
um,
doesn't have extra underwear.
no, I'm sure that he has a bag.
He doesn't have a bag. That's the point. That's what he said. I only bring a toothbrush because anything else I need a bag. And if he told O'Donnell, like, if he has a extra clothes, he'll be like he has to bring a bag, and then if he has a bag, he has to have a suitcase. He has a suitcase, he has to have a car. If he has a car, he needs to have a house. If he has a house, he has a mortgage. He doesn't even have a
I was
fucking
like,
phone. A burner on him?
he needs. I'm also like, I've always thought like, oh, he has a change of clothes wherever he's staying at, right? But yeah, you're right. He like
Oh, I
even
think
if even at
the way he changes is he in the first episode he goes to a flea market,
a thrift store, a
a
thrift
thrift
store.
store,
He that's every time everywhere he goes to a thrift store.
and it's cheap. What was it, $11-$20 for a whole set? He only keeps his boots, the toothbrush.
Then
There's a
the
deodorant.
toothbrush.
It smell bad.
Well, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
if he's in
Maybe
the
he
cold
smells like
states,
God sweat.
if he if he if he stays in the cold states, then he doesn't sweat that much. But I don't know. Oh yeah, maybe he smells like God. Like God's. Did
I'm
you see
sure he
the
smells
New
like
Heights
God.
episode where there's a candle that smells like Travis Scott?
Yeah,
What the
I just
fuck?
listened to that.
And it's not even. It's not official product, right? Just somebody.
No, it's just somebody made
So what
it
is it?
like, what are it's like and they were conversing like, So is this an official policy?" Like, no. So but what are we going to do? You're gonna sue some random guy. um, but anyway, we're just gonna quickly run through the season, and along the way we'll drop in our favorite interactions, favorite ways of killing or interrogating. So that's the fun part of this. Every episode, there's going to be like a moment, a beat within the episode where, yeah, there will be either a fight or an interrogation. Fight meaning there's going to be a finishing move, or interrogation meaning it's going to be doing something to get information every episode. And then every time it is both scary, feasible, but also slightly funny. Like every time, particularly in the last part, one of the last episodes, my favorite line, I know I'm jumping. My favorite line is like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to,
Exactly my
uh,
favorite. No, you're gonna tell me what I want, or I'm gonna rip out your trachea, and then the last thought to enter your mind is,
it's like,
"Holy
oh, you
shit, you
really did
really
that.
did it!"
Really did that. I
That's
fucking
my favorite line.
died laughing. But there's also a few more stuff that I remember towards the end. But just the main basic through line of the story is we start the season with a dude being thrown off a helicopter. That said dude comes to be one of the special forces,
Special
um
investigators.
special investigations unit that Reacher led years ago. Um, so we start off by Reacher getting an SOS via an ATM deposit, which is pretty cool, right? That's a cool thing because again, Reacher doesn't have anything. He doesn't have a place to send mail to. Doesn't have a phone. He doesn't have anything. So the only way that he gets in contact through an emergency through his important people is if there is a deposit in his account with like a weird message. Like I think it's like $1.10, meaning something around information. So that's how he and Neely got together. And Neely was kind of like bumping around doing her thing. She's kind of like a big shot investigator in her firm already. Neely is one of his sergeants. There's also really every episode too. There's also a little bit of a backstory, a little bit of flashback on how each one of these guys got recruited, how they became family. There's a lot of fun tests and like team building exercises that I won't spoil for anyone who wants to come, but it's always fun. It kind of shows how Reacher is not just this big giant brute. He is like a true commander. He's a true leader. So it's not only smarts, but he has this way of being able to bring people together. Most importantly, bring the best out of people. So it's kind of like the entire time, this entire season, we're always going to kind of have this dichotomy of saying like, he's such a great judge of character. He's such a great judge of people, but there will be instances where that judgment will be tested. So as Neely and Reacher connect trudge along, they kind of realize that more and more of their team in the what is the name, special investigation,
Investigators. Special
is the
investigators.
the
Nobody
special
messes
investigator.
with the special investigators.
More and more of them has coincidentally either died or has gone missing. Like the first few wasn't too weird. Like, hey, somebody got into a car accident and hey, somebody just died. But this time we found somebody that was thrown off the
Thrown off a
helicopter.
helicopter.
And then if no hiker have seen it, they might have never known of that particular body. So that was kind of like um another thing. So they started investigating whoever is left. Um and yeah, during the investigation of this, they kind of like bump into another of the another person of their crew, O'Donnell, um, who is a little bit more of like a uh morally questionable clientele in terms of private investigation, but he's a family guy now. Um, and through the course of their investigation of the murder that they've seen, the main murder that they've seen, the guy that has been thrown out of the helicopter, they kind of like bump into other investigators of like the NYPD, like a guy named Detective Guy Russo,
Guy
kind of like
Russo.
was on their tail. To start, they think like Russo thought that Reacher and his crew had something to do with it, but as usual, as the investigation goes along, they figured out that they're looking for the same people. There's something fishy about the deaths of these people, and they figured out that uh, the other remaining people in their crew were working in and around Atlantic City, in and around security, and then being referred to uh this conglomerate. What's
Wait,
New
let's
Age again?
yeah,
What?
the company. No, but
Yeah, I mean,
the main baddie Arnie is Robert Patrick, Terminator T2, T1000,
T2000.
and there's a good scene where uh Reacher and Neely booked a hotel, and the bad guy working for Robert Patrick was spying on them, and when he was talking to Robert Patrick, he was reporting like, "Oh, the big guy and the girl booked a hotel under the name of the guy's name is like a baseball player for the Yankees or something." I say this guy, and then I don't. And then Robert Patrick was like, "Oh, he's using a name from a famous Yankees player," and the girls signed under the name Sarah Connor. Who's that one? And
Who's
then
that?
so Robert Patrick was like, "How the fuck should I know?" I was like,
Oh,
nice callback.
yeah, but yeah, simply put, as they were looking for the remainder of their team, some dead, some missing, they kind of realized that a few people in their crew um, were again started working in security, started working in and around Atlantic City, and then also directing towards this conglomerate, New Age. And New Age is kind of like a defense company that is in between government and private. So it's kind of like already blamed that that's the main big bad. As they go through along, they meet up with um, another person that they found out that was still alive within the superintendent crew. My favorite is Dixon. Okay. Carla Dixon, played by Serinda Swan. So you'll also get through in the next few episodes that they kind of had some chemistry during when they were working together in the special investigator squad. But because he was the superior, couldn't do anything about it. Uh, During the middle part of the season, there's going to be a little overlay in terms of what they're investigating currently, like the whereabouts and the innocence of um, the remaining guy that kind of like the main linchpins of New Age and the superintendent's crew. A guy by the name, what's his name?
AM.
Fuck. Uh, what's
What's the name?
the guy's name?
AM. AM.
No, no, no. During the middle of the season, we were figuring out whether the guy that they're looking for, their teammate that they were looking
Swan.
for, is clean or not. So Swan. So
Swan.
Swan is connected to New Age as one of their security heads. So
Yeah.
he's kind of like, all right, is he part of New Age? Figuring and while they're figuring out what is New Age happening, why they're killing all of these people, it must be something big. It must cost $65
For
million
that one,
because
they tried to make him suspicious, but like Reacher said, for me it was the dog. When the dog was dead, we knew that he wasn't the bad guy.
true. But the good thing that so the one of the smart things that this series does is kind of do flashback correctly. So they were also flashing back to an instance where they discovered in the special investigation this kind of drug ring within the military that they're within the army, and there's like one instance where like a giant brick of heroin was missing when they were
And
when
he
they
could
recovered
have
it and they were trying to
kind
take
of
it
tried
over.
to steal it.
And it wasn't clear whether Swan tried to steal it or it was an honest mistake that it got lodged somewhere in the car, right? So again, it doesn't make it super clear. So half of the team was kind of like be prepared whenever we see Swan, whether we need to kill him or not. And Reacher has always been, I know Swan, I know this team. Seemingly that everybody in that team has been clean up to that point. And yeah, towards the end, a main pivotal point was the one of the HR directors of New Age that they investigated um, was this lady that thought this this lady that provided the team, Reacher's team, with information where they could find the person that they were looking for. So during the course of their investigation, they figured out, hey, somebody from our investigation was contacting New Age. Ask New Age who that person is, and then apparently it's like a security consultant, security advisor to New Age, says the HR person, and then they were trying to get information about that shady security guy, and then this HR lady from New Age provided the team with information that was essentially a trap for the team. So, of course, the team survives. They get back to and the HR lady, and then the HR lady escaped with her daughter, meaning like either she is kind of super shady or she's also a part of the loose ends that New Age would want to eliminate. So it was in fact the latter, with the help of NYPD Detective Russo, which had an entire season's worth of veiled threats against Reacher about
I
being
love it.
punching Reacher. So it was a nice uh, chemistry between the two of them. With the help of Russo all throughout the team, they were able to kind of like hide, but the HR lady and her daughter, but they were still found out. Uh, Russo got killed in the process. Reacher and the team was able to save said HR lady, and also at the same time get more information about uh, New
The
Age,
deal.
but also information that the about New Age, and they're going to try to find New Age. And then Department of Homeland Security starts butting in. We think that they were going to arrest the special investigator, but instead, this senator or governor, I think a senator, Senator Lavoie, instead of kind of like turning in Reacher or uh, uh, or arresting them, killing them, assassinating them, or whatnot. Senator Lavoie instead provides help because he realized that New Age is this defense contractor that does.
He helped. He supported them, but they're
Yeah,
selling. They turned it and they're selling their new gadget to terrorists.
that they're selling their gadgets, period, whether it the Homeland, the Senator Lavoie, and even T2000. They think that they're selling it, like, or they're selling it not to the terrorists but for themselves, right? So for people that would want to protect against terrorists, but that's not the case. So the idea, what is happening was, there are a technology called Littlefoot,
Little Wing. Little Wing.
Little Wing,
Little
that
Wing.
is able to kind of like target any flying thing. So it can intercept. It is both it is more technology for missiles, but you'll need missiles to do it also. But this technology can intercept anything. So whether it is a commercial plane or a helicopter or anything, this Little Wing technology will be able to do it. So the team was able to figure out that although the technology and the process of making said missiles and missile guiding systems was legit, New Age, along with T2000 and some other like weird entity, AM and whatnot, they worked with the government to kind of like flag one erroneous missile in every batch, so that that erroneous missile can technically be disposed of. And then once it hit like 65 missiles, miss $1 million per missile, um, they were able to like now smuggle those missiles to the highest bidder. So that's one of the things that Senator Lavoie was getting income from. So when he realized that he might get caught when this gets found, then started helping Reacher so that Reacher can stop T2000 and whatnot. All right. Okay. Finally, in the end, lots of threatening, lots of fighting, lots of killing people, lots of times when you can see uh, Knox, no, O'Donnell, and Nick Dixon gets tortured pretty clearly, like
Mm-hmm.
stabbed, shot. Right? But in the end, they were able to kind of like uh, lots of like traps. T2000 had a trap for the team, but the team was trying to trap T1000. But in the end, T2000 was able to get both O'Donnell and Dixon, and then Neely and Reacher goes on and saves Dixon and O'Donnell by going into pretending to be going into a trap, or Reacher trying to surrendering, and then Neely helping from the outside with the support from Homeland Security that's provided by Senator Lavoy. Big fight happens. Reacher kills everybody in spectacular fashion. At the end of the season, everyone thinks that everything is fine, but the Homeland Security people then started to point their guns at the special investigators, like, "Oh, Senator Lavoy doesn't want loose ends
I
too."
was sad there, but it was the right call. I mean, that's what he would have done.
It made some. I figured like Reacher would have caught Senator Lavoy anyway. It's not something that he could get away with.
Mm.
But Reacher, anticipating this move, already made a deal with um, uh, a different sect of the Department of Homeland Security, a co-worker of his brother, for this caller of Senator Lavoy and his wrongdoings. And then season's over. The fun thing about here that doesn't usually happen in series like this, particularly like Goody Two Shoes people, is they got the $65 million.
They
The
fucking
$65
stole it.
million was dirty, so it
And
didn't
and
have to.
and what was this? Homeland let him get away. He was clearly
Yeah,
holding the suitcase.
yeah, and because like the money was dirty, right? And
Uh,
eh, you know, T2000 is not going to do it. Senator Lavoy is in it. He's not going to surrender it to the Department of Homeland Security. So there's a cute montage at the end where he provided, well, the team initially, Reacher did not want to be responsible on what they're going to do with the $65 million. But the team insisted that because Reacher had nothing,
and
he's the
he
best
didn't
person
care.
to be able to handle the $65 million worth of bearer bonds, which is like essentially cash. And he gave a bit to Neely's dad because he knows Neely's not gonna accept anything from him. Uh, Dixon, he bought out like the firm that Dixon is working with. So instead of Dixon working for a firm, Dixon can be the one that's calling the shots. She's also a PI. For O'Donnell, he gave a lot of money to his kids. Not O'Donnell,
I'm
so
not
that's
giving
great.
a penny to you.
Yeah, a lot of pay to you, but a lot to your kids, which is great. And then, a few more other things like he donated to an animal shelter in memory of Swan's dog. Also, uh, millions of dollars for the kid of Detective NYPD Detective Russo, and a few more. Yeah, so yeah, that's and this is where there's a last bang between Dixon and Reacher, which I love.
A couple of
And
few
they were
days
kind
worth
of,
of.
yeah, and what do you sense? I sense that they might connect again. I know it was Dixon who was saying that, hey, the past few days were like great, but I know that this wasn't anything that could like continue and yada yada. It was something that they were closing stuff from the past instead of something for the future. But I really hope she comes back. I really hope she's a regular annually. Uh, and the last scene is Neely saying goodbye to Reachers, which you were right when we were talking when we were back in the Philippines that Neely was the protege. Like she is like the mini Reacher, which is kind of cool. Like
She's the
she,
Nightwing to his
yeah. So
Batman.
and it's great. It's like they're equal in everything. Like Neely's a little smarter, and then Reacher is a lot stronger. So they kind of like equals in a lot of ways. And she's really tall because she's the only one that kind of can be a little eye to
Getting
eye
closer.
with
Yeah.
Reacher, right? But yeah, that's it.
Uh,
So Chubax, what is
ju-
your final thoughts,
so
ratings,
I just
favorite
wanna
kills if
mention
you
some
have
of
any?
my favorite moments, like just how which also highlights how this show can be smart and stupid. Like I love the guy Russo introduction where he kicks the front of the car to activate
So
the
Guy,
airbag. So
so
Arnie, somebody's
Russo
watching them from
was
the car. So he
doing a
comes,
stakeout.
yeah, during somebody was taking them out in the car. So Richard just walks up to the car and kicks the front of the car, activating the airbag, which hits the guy in the driver's seat. That was so funny. And then the other thing that I found was so smart was he needed a gun, so he found a drug dealer and stole that guy's gun.
He did it a few times. Every
He
time that
came
he
back.
needed guns
He
or
came back
money,
to that guy too, and he needed drugs. So that was awesome. Some of the stupid ones, but I don't know. It just the charm of Reacher made it passable. Was uh the guy in the gun store. There's no way that guy is gonna release those guns to some random guy who's obviously gonna use them to kill some people for a few bucks. Because that's
oh, I'm
gonna be
sure that he
traced.
was able to charm the guy
But it was so
intelligently.
funny though. Like every time the guy would say something, and then Reacher would have a comeback. It's like, if I lend those to your person, I physically I have to be near you. You'll be with me in spirit. How the fuck does that work? And then yeah, like as you said, all the interrogation scenes was awesome. Uh, the highlight was that the guy in the hospital with the trachea. Holy shit, he really did it.
No, it's
His
like even more gruesome than that was the catheter,
Oh yeah, and he killed him
right?
too. So
Yeah, so that's the fucked up part. Not only did you torture the guy, but you also killed the guy, but you killed the guy properly. So that's one of my favorite things. Is like a new. So I have it's funny because like what I can do. So do you know what a catheter is? Like they put this tube up your dick so that you can pee. But what I can do is like if I can plug this kind of a plunger, like the
yeah,
injector, you
injection.
can like
You're-
extend the balloon and then extend the thing that's opening. It's like even now thinking about it sucks and it hurts. So he
So
did
after
that.
after that, yeah, the guy tattled, but then, oh, but I'm not gonna kill you that way because everybody's gonna freak out
No,
if they see your balls exploded. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go uh to the IV and plug the air bubble there to give you an embolism,
embolism.
and nobody's gonna know somebody killed you.
Yeah, you've been in a car accident. It happens all the time. So it's like,
And that's how he died. And then it was funny when he threw the grill to the car. Reacher, what did you do? I just threw a grill at him. Who the fuck throws a grill? And he, uh,
there's like the cement stuff in Atlantic City
uh,
where he drowned a couple of guys in cement, but also like he disposed of There's that's the good part. Like the added extra step, the extra step every time again in the interrogation we're talking about killing them with an embolism versus killing them with another thing to buy them time. Didn't work, but they were found out a few minutes later. But still, the idea of it was great.
no, they didn't. They
Killing
didn't find
people in
out. They just
Atlantic
saw the
City and
killer. They just saw another killer who wanted
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and then in Atlantic City, they were hunted and they killed their attackers, but they didn't want police to investigate them, so they fucking buried them in cement. So, like in the construction site. So all of these things add up to be like, oh, it's plausible. But everything else with like Reacher's like super. It's not superhero. It's superhero adjacent. Yeah. All
It's
right,
just
so
fun,
give me
and
your last thoughts and
the
your
chemistry with
rating.
Neely is it's so great because his chemistry with Dixon is romantic, and then his chemistry with Neely is the protege type. So it's awesome. Oh, also a note, I was a little scared that Dixon was a
Mole.
mole
Mm.
because he kept talking about his being the family guy and it's a surprise to everybody, and it seemed like they could turn
O'Donnell,
that,
O'Donnell,
yeah,
you mean?
O'Donnell, they could turn that, and make it like
Mhm.
a front, and then he really was the mole. But then when they showed
Or
the
like your friends are being threatened.
yeah, so but then when they showed his family, I was like, thank God, he's safe. And yeah, there's also like small smart stuff like the episode we saw where Neely and Dixon got to the truck, and then they were shot at, and then they backed up,
Mhm. Yep.
and then the bad guys came in. The two bad guys came
And then
in,
they were
and
in the
then they were
trunk.
in the trunk. But then, if you see it, the first move was the trunk opened, but it was slow. So at my first watching, I was like, how can those two? They were ready. How can those two be
Mm.
surprised? But if you watch it again, the trunk opens, which so one guy was looking inside the back seat, one guy was by the trunk. The first move was the trunk opening slowly, so the guy in the back was looking at the back seat, was surprised and look at the back seat. That's when uh Neely came out the back seat, shot him.
Mm.
When she shot him, the guy looking at the trunk looked to the back seat, and then that's when Dixon came out and shot him. So it's like the timing was perfect. So those are the small things that
The very impressive fight choreography all around. Like it's not that it's a little fantastical that Reacher always kind of like beats up 20 people at the same time, all at the same time, but
I
at least
bet
he gets beat up.
there's no way that he can hang on a helicopter pull himself. He's too fucking.
Those are the things that I always, anything hanging in a movie or a show, that does your shoulder will pop off your
No, if
sockets.
Tom Cruise can do it, but Richard, he's just too heavy, bro. No, like
Like,
Tom Cruise,
but
like
Reacher was, oh
Tom
yeah,
Cruise.
for him,
No,
I'm sure he can do one pull up.
his body, his body similar to like Alex Honnold, who climbs free solo.
Mm.
Somebody like Richard, like he said in an interview, right? He can't even walk 20 minutes without getting tired because he's so fucking big.
No, but I could still believe he can do one pull up. What I can't believe is when Dixon fell off the
And he caught him
helicopter in a gurney.
in a gurney. That was fucking
He
heavy.
caught the gurney, caught Dixon, and then he was being kicked by T-2000 all at the same time. Like, come
T1000,
on,
yeah.
T-1000, yeah. They're ready for your rating?
Oh, and great use of the cameo for Finley. I loved it. That was great.
I love it.
So for
Um,
rating, yeah, I'll go first. I'll give this a 9.
yep.
I love it. It's my guilty pleasure. And you?
I am also giving it a 9. This is my guiltiest of guilty pleasure. It's it's unnerving how much I like the show. Like I could consider this like Reacher
Mm-hmm.
almost as close to kind of like watching Loki 2. Like that levels of like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I know every episode is gonna be great. So it's like it's weird how much I like this show. But yeah, I'm at a 9. But all right.
Okay. Before we go, I was just checking. One of my sticking points is, how can Amazon not throw just money at him and just keep pumping out? And as I googled it, season 3 has already started filming. The only complaint is should have been already done.
I think, yeah, I mean, you're right. I think they have a golden goose here. Like this is kind of like boys. This is
With the
boys,
standalone seasons,
Reacher.
with how many gazillion books they can apply. And I think they were smart because I think this season is based on book 11 or something. So imagine 10 books where you don't know anything about the special investigators. So they
I
plug this in so that in the next seasons you can have Swan, you can have
They can have
Dixon,
one or
or
two
Dixon,
people
or you
come
can
in,
O'Donnell, yeah.
right, and help. So I'm so excited about that. But also like, I wouldn't mind like a Neely
These
spin-off or a
series.
Dixon spin-off because Dixon's specialty is financial crimes, right? So it's great. It's going to be right. So
There
yeah,
you go.
this is great. You guys better should watch Reacher. Come on, you guys have Amazon. This is free. You can literally go on an app and download it and watch it when you're in the shitter. It's amazing. With that, we will end this episode with an assignment that next week, because we're going to be discussing a shorter season, 5 short episodes of Echo season 1 from Disney Plus. That's our first assignment. But we also have a second cinematic masterpiece that we want to discuss next week. It is must see viewing. It is the I think the epitome of what you call a master class in filmmaking, which is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So we'll discuss that next week. Join us in any of our channels. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram with the handle @+63. Subscribe to us here on YouTube at youtube.com/63hp. And if you want to join us live while we record this, we stream, or we stream our recording live on Twitch weekend mornings, 9:30, 10 a.m. ish Eastern time. So that is 11 p.m. Philippine time, and 6:30 a.m. Pacific. Our Twitch link is twitch.tv/+63hp. So thank you very much. And on behalf of my bros, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.